Hello, I'm Patrick Carrigan of Jedi Magic and More, and today we are looking at Dune, released in 2021. This is the third adaptation of the classic sci-fi novel Dune by Frank Herbert. And what and since this is a very influential novel, I really wanted to review this. This was one of my most anticipated movies of this year, and it did not disappoint. I want to talk about what worked first, and then we'll go into the very few things that didn't, which is mainly minor nitpicks that could easily be fixed in a extended cut. But so the movie is directed by Denis Villeneuve. I really hope I'm pronouncing that. If I did not, I apologize. He's a relatively new up and coming director. He's made quite a few movies, but by direct as directors go, he's a relatively new one. It's really good if you haven't checked out Arrival. And yeah, Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, those are some pretty good movies. The film adapts about the first half of the novel. Now, since this is a relatively new movie, I'm going to do my best to avoid any spoilers in this review. But so first off, we have the subject of casting characters. They're honestly really good. Everyone is well cast. Timothy does a great job as Paul Atreides, and Rebecca Ferguson and Oscar Isaac are really well cast as Lady Jessica and Duke Leto, respectively. And Stellan Skarsgård is suitably intimidating as the film's main antagonist, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. And while there are a few characters who don't have much screen time, I must state that there are no actual minor characters in the grand scheme of Dune. Everyone in this movie plays some part of the plot, and two minor characters here will become much, much more important in part two. My only complaint here is there were some characters dropped, but and some who had more page time in the book were given a lot less screen time in the movie, and it kind of hurt their characters. But again, nothing that couldn't be fixed in like an extended cut. So for casting characters, I'd say Dune gets a full 10 points. But but the great cast of character wouldn't mean much if the story isn't good. So how is the story and how faithfully does it adapt the novel? It's a great story and it actually adapts the novel quite well. There are scenes cut and other scenes happen later in the movie than they do in the book. Most notably the Gom Jobber sequence where which was one of the very first things that happens in the book, and it happens about right before they actually start to leave Caladan. Actually, it's another thing I want to talk about. A lot more time is spent on Caladan, but prior to getting to Arrakis, and it's not that I actually like seeing more of Caladan. Helped with the world building and got to see what they were trading for the Arrakis. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, this is one of the most faithful adaptations I have ever seen. And while, again, some events happen a little earlier or later than they do in the novel, it's still follows the source material extremely faithfully, with scenes matching the novel almost word for word. One character death is changed, but it's a minor thing, and said character goes out in a really epic way that honestly I kind of prefer to the novel. So with a few minor alterations, but nothing that derails the film, at least for the first part, I'd give it another 10 out of 10. Finally, we have the visuals. This film has a very minimalistic style, but it sells the scale quite well with the Coriolis storm and the Shai Hulud attacking the spice harvester. That is a very amazing scene, and it really deserves to be seen on the big screen. And we later on see him chasing Paul and Jessica, which is suitably intense. It's just the film's visually stunning. Like, you wouldn't think a desert planet would be beautiful, but somehow Dune makes a desert planet beautiful. It sells the danger, but in its own way, it's majestic. So this film wins on a less is more and benefits greatly from it. So after going through the three categories, I have to give Dune Part 1 a solid 10 out of 10. This could change based on how well they adapt the second half of the novel in Part 2, but for now I'm relatively pleased with this movie, and I can't wait for the sequel. So what did you think of Dune? Let me know. This is Jedi Magic and More signing off, and I'll see you next week with the review of Ghostbusters Afterlife.